Okay, it is time to talk about Captain America Winter Soldier. Now, I went in Captain America not caring for Captain America the First Avenger. I do love it now, but I did not like it before I saw this one. I saw them both like opening night, whatever. But I liked Cap in Avengers, and I was like, okay, but he still seemed kind of out of his depth, out of his league. It was like he's just running around on the streets as these gods are flying around him. And so I went into this movie being like, all right, like hopefully this is decent. At least give him a decent movie. And I will see what happens along this course here of all the revisits between now and Endgame, and with Endgame obviously included into this, and Spider-Man Far From Home, and plenty of others to come. But for now, as it stands, and has it always stood so far, this is my favorite MCU film. This movie blew me the fuck away in theaters. It probably helped that I went into it with such low expectations. Even if I think I went into it with amazingly high expectations, I still think it would have came out extremely happy. But having also had low expectations and getting a movie this good, and I went into it tonight being like, okay, is it as good as I remember it? Will it hold up? Yes, it's actually better than I remember it. And I've seen it a couple of times, and every time I think it's better. It is so damn well done. There is a reason that these guys took on Civil War and Endgame and Infinity War and whatever. The Russo brothers, which is funny because we're actually watching Arrested Development right now. And that is the first like 4 or 5 episodes are directed by the Russo brothers, or like one of them each. It was weird. I was like, what? They directed this? This is much different. Much different. But my God, what a fantastic action movie. What a fantastic spy espionage movie. Just a fucking great movie all around. It has great villains. It has great characters. It's got great twists. It's got great action. It's got some of the hottest chicks you'll ever see. It's got it all. It really does. It's the perfect freaking action movie. Disconnected from the MCU. Disconnected from every film that came before it and after it. On its own, it stands as a fucking like 10 out of 10 action masterpiece. It is that damn good in my opinion. So anyway. All right, so we got this opening sequence here, and Steve Rogers is out there, and he keeps running past Falcon, and he's just, on your left, on your left, on your left. This is what he does. He's in a full sprint. He just never tires out. And you kind of get to see him just out there in the world, like trying to get his head straight, doesn't know what the hell else to do, isn't dating. He's still got his mind on Peggy. He's still like, doesn't know what the hell to do with his life because he's been frozen for 70 years. I really like how they put that on him, and that Cap is really stuck to his values. And he's such a great character in this movie. You got Frank Grillo and Callan Mulvey in this, which if you've heard me talk about this in the past, I love both of these guys. And I became a big Callan fan in 300, Rise of the Empire, and Frank Grillo, I think it was Warrior, I want to say, is where I really liked him for the first time. And then when I saw them both here, those timelines might not match up, but maybe on a second watch I saw them both together again. I don't know how I dug them, but Callan Mulvey is one of my favorite unknown actors. Love to see him in anything he's ever done. And Frank Grillo, it's cool that this guy has become kind of an action star in his 50s. Like, he wasn't really anybody. Gives me hope that somehow I'm gonna fucking do something like that one day. But yeah, he comes in, and if you ever watch that guy, if you watch interviews, if you watch anything with him, that dude is disciplined. He is no joke. He really takes care of himself. Check it out. It's pretty wild what he does. And so we got this scene here in the opening where after the Falcon stuff, where I love that scene where Natasha comes and she picks him up in the Corvette, and he just gets in the car and he leans down. He's like, how you doing? Like, this guy can outrun me. He's fucking bigger than me. This gorgeous woman comes and picks him up in this fucking expensive car, and I'm back here slow as shit. Freaking not slow as shit. I'm sure he's really fast for a normal person, and he's like running a PTSD group. Tony should have went there from Iron Man 3. Hey, maybe he can help him out. But anyways, they're talking, they're having their talk, and then Tony jumps out of the freaking plane with no parachute. And that's when Callan and Frank get to interact, and they were in the trailer. I remember that. Was he wearing a parachute? No, he wasn't. Lands in the water. The way, like, just from the opening scene right here, when he's running around the deck of that ship and he's taking guys out and he's throwing the shield and all that, I just knew I was in for something special. I was just like, whoa, this action is fucking amazing. This is cool. Like, this is a superhero movie. Like, this is badass. I remember just sitting there the whole time, and then freaking Black Widow comes in, and her fight sequences are so damn well done. They always have been, but they're just even more polished in this one. And Nick Fury says, the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye, and he has a scratch through his eyeball. Does that line up with what happens in Captain Marvel? I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch that scene. I only saw it once, so I'm not gonna nitpick yet. But I don't know. Does that line up? Maybe. All right. And then so after they take the boat and Cap catches Natasha taking the stuff off the hard drives, whatever, he goes and he talks to Nick Fury. Nick Fury shows him their what the hell they're doing out there, and they're building all these aircraft carriers to neutralize threats, thousands and thousands at a time, which is just terrifying. And Nick and Steve, they just have a total disagreement on what freedom actually is by living, in fear like that. No bueno. Cap goes to his own museum and gets to watch a video of Peggy up on the screen, and he finds out that he saved her husband-to-be, which, I don't know, like, in one way that would be kind of heartbreaking, like, oh, I should have been with her, but on the other hand, it's like, she probably loved this guy, and I saved him for her. And knowing Cap and what a great guy he is, that's probably the way he took it. Like, I'm sure for a second it was like, oh, it should have been me, but at the same time it's like, man, I saved the man she loved, and she got to have this amazing relationship. In a way, I feel like I was with her because of that. I don't know. That's pretty cool. And then he goes and he visits her in the hospital, and she's super old now. I mean, he says he's been frozen for like 70 years, he says, and she's got to be in her late 20s, early 30s in the other movie, which she's old, like 90s, late 90s, early hundreds. She looks pretty good for being someone who is in her late 90s. But I don't know, maybe she's supposed to be like 21 or something, so she'd be 91. But she still looks pretty damn good for being in her 90s, no matter what side of the 90s she's on. And it's really sad, too, because she's having kind of a normal conversation with him, and she even tells him to stop being dramatic, and then is totally hypocritical, and it's completely dramatic, but that's nor here nor there, because she has Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever, and she freaks out and has to go through it all again, like, Steve, you're here, oh my God. And it's like every time he visits her, he probably has to deal with that. Robert Redford, man, how cool to get him in here. And yeah, the grief counseling, there you go, the PTSD grief counseling, whatever you want to call it. The whole Nick under attack sequence, badass. Such a great fight sequence, such great action. He waits for the shield to get down to 1%, grabs the gun, blasts it. The freaking Winter Soldier in the street skids under the car, locks up, blows the car up, takes this laser pointer, cuts his way through the car there, and then goes over and hides himself in Captain America's house, because he knows Cap is probably the only person that he can trust. You got Agent 13 lives next door. Beautiful girl here. I used to watch the show Revenge, so I know this girl pretty damn well. And Nick is shot through the window there, and Cap goes out and pursues the Winter Soldier, throws the freaking shield at him, and the first guy to turn around and just catch it the way that shot, so cool. And then Nick hides the flash drive that Nick gives him in the vending machine. Nick dies, of course. Anyone who fucking dies in this series, don't count them dead. Even Infinity War, okay? And then Pierce is trying to talk to Cap, and he puts doubt in his mind, but still plays nice about it, like he's on his side. And then the elevator fight. Oh, this whole sequence, just the elevator fight. Like, before we start, does anyone want to get out? And he beats the shit out of everyone. He's got the, the mag handcuffs, and he's fighting these guys. Oh, it's such beautiful action. And he jumps out, lands on the thing, grabs a motorcycle, and rides it at this aircraft carrier, throws it up there, sticks it in this thing, jumps on top of it, beating the shit. Oh, it's so fucking cool. It is so damn well constructed. It's so, thrilling. It's just thrilling. That's what it really comes down to. So Natasha joins Steve, and they take off, and they almost have a little romance thing going on here. I don't feel like it's ever explored because of the whole Hulk thing. Which is fine. I would like to have seen Cap with Black Widow. I like that matchup. Probably a little more than the Bruce thing. I don't mind it, but I don't know. I like them in this. And when they kiss on the elevator, or the escalator, and she's like grilling him, like, is that your first kiss in 70 years? And he's like, that bad, huh? And there's just these moments where she just keeps trying to set him up on dates, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like she's trying to get something. She looks at him like she's into him, but I don't know. I guess he's just still too messed up over his best girl. So they go and they return to his boot camp from the first movie, which is pretty cool to see. Hydra has been infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. for years, and anyone who gets in the way is assassinated, from freaking Tony Stark's dad to Nick Fury to pretty much everybody, which we find out about in Civil War later, but we'll get there. And people need to give up their freedom for security. This is Hydra's plan. They realize that they can't just take people by force, that they have to scare them enough into thinking that they need security, that they'll give up their freedom to get that. And that's very, very close to reality of things. So Falcon comes in and helps, and I have to say, I like Falcon a lot more this time. I think that's something I took from this movie that I hadn't previously taken from this movie. I really liked Falcon in this movie. I thought Anthony Mackie, right? Is that his name? The actor? I really like him. Gary Shandling. Oh my gross. Oh my fucking gross. His little conversation he has here when he says Hail Hydra, that is the second grossest thing he says, next to the fact that he has sex with a 23-year-old girl. Who the fuck would fuck Gary Shandling at any age? He is disgusting. Now, they do name Stephen Strange as a threat in this movie. The Doctor? Because he's not the mystical Doctor Strange yet. He's still Stephen Strange at this point, for sure. So the fact that he's brought up, I don't know if they just didn't realize they were going to make a Doctor Strange movie at any point in the future. But the fact that he's on the list was interesting to me. I guess he just met the criteria of what they're trying to defend against, and it doesn't mean that it's a flaw or that it's a continuity error. He could be, as a doctor. He's smart. He's willing. He's these things. He's probably not playing ball. Maybe they came to him. Who knows? But I thought it was really interesting to hear his name on there. And the algorithm that this old doctor from the first movie put together kills potential risks against what they would consider to be a threat. Whatever the hell, who knows what that fucking algorithm is. Anyone who would oppose Hydra, maybe heroes. There you go. And so the Winter Soldier comes in. He attacks them as they're getting out of there. Because, they get blown up and they get out of there. And he probably shouldn't have told them the countdown. Yet again, kind of an Iron Man 2 problem where the doctor tells him, although he does let himself get blown up, doesn't that mean that kills him? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But the computer doctor tells them, like, oh, just so you know, bomb's coming in 5, 4, 3, and it gives them enough time to hide. They wouldn't have even known it was coming. But whatever. So they get out of there. They go and go to Falcon. Falcon's helping him out. They get the suit. I'm kind of jumping all over the place a little bit, but then the suit they use to intimidate the guy with Gary Shandling, and then they get out of there and the Winter Soldier attacks. And this is such a badass action sequence. It's almost too much to even talk about, otherwise I'm going to run on forever. But I love that he grabs through the window and he grabs the steering wheel and rips it out of the car. And then they're just being pushed around in the back by this truck that's smashing them, and there's nothing they can do. They have no steering wheel. That's terrifying. And then, the car goes to flip, and somehow Cap gets them out and holds on to Natasha more than he holds on to Falcon there. Because Falcon goes rolling, and he's got the girl like, "Oh, you so hot. I'm going to take care of you. Don't you worry about that." But the whole action, everything about the action in this sequence is just... I don't even have time. I don't even think I wrote much down. You got the Winter Soldier versus freaking everybody here. I mean, he pretty much takes on everybody. And then he finally, when he's going against Natasha Romanoff, that's such a cool sequence. She jumps off the bridge, flies around, goes around the car. As I said, I don't want to get too much into it. You guys probably, you watch the movie. But you got him versus Steve Rogers, and then it's revealed that he's got pulls the face off. Although when he comes to visit Robert Redford, and that's a cold ass scene because he kills his house cleaner or maid, nanny, whatever the hell I don't think he has kids. I don't know. His maid, housekeeper. There we go. Kills her because she comes back in. He's like, "Oh, I wish you would have knocked." Like, oh, such a shame. But I'll tell you, I don't know what it was in theaters, but on the Blu-ray, and maybe it's because I know who he is, it's clear as day that that's Bucky. Like at the table. Clear as day. It's his face just outright. So I don't know if that's like a mess up or maybe the Blu-ray is a little too clear or whatnot. It kind of reminds me of in Sleepaway Camp when they show and it's supposed to be Angela, but it's so clearly little Ricky. It's hilarious, like Ricky in a wig. So, because they didn't want the actress doing those scenes, so they had the actor who plays Ricky put on the wig. But when you're watching the Blu-ray, it is clearly him. And all right, I'm jumping all over the place. And then, so they captured Cap. They Cap, and they see that there's news choppers overhead, so they can't execute them there. So they take them, and Agent Hill is in there to rescue them. And they go and they're like, "Dig 3 holes," and they go to execute them. I love how he tells them in the elevator. He's like, "It's nothing personal." He's like, "It feels pretty personal." It's fucking personal. It is personal. Go dig 3 graves. This is Captain America here. It's beyond personal, but he works for Hydra, so what do you expect? Pat Healy makes a little cameo in here. Pat fucking Healy. Love Pat Healy. Fucking Cheap Thrills. And the Innkeepers, big Innkeepers fan. Big freaking fan of Ty West. So I know a lot of people find that movie boring, but I think it's brilliant. Big Pat Healy fan. So cool seeing him here. Compliance as well. Anyway. Oh man, when they come in and they wipe Bucky's memory and he's just screaming and horrible. It looks so miserable. And then they decide, like Cap's like, "Look, I'm gonna shut down S.H.I.E.L.D." and Nick's like, "You can't," because Nick's alive, of course. And then everyone votes against him. We got the Stan Lee security guard cameo in here. Cap steals the suit and he's like, "I'm so fired." One of my favorite Stan Lee cameos. Not my favorite, but definitely one of them. And then Cap, I love the scene where Captain America or Steve Rogers or Cap or whatever the hell I'm going to call him goes on the loudspeaker, gets into the S.H.I.E.L.D., speakers around the place, and tells everyone in there what's up. And then you have everyone trying to pick a side, figuring out they all try to become heroes. And some of them are successful, some of them lose their lives. But in that moment, like, everyone becomes Captain America. It's a fucking great scene. And it just embodies Captain America so damn well. So just cannot fucking say enough good about that scene. And Black Widow has this like face changer thing that she uses to infiltrate Robert Redford's place up there, Pierce, right? And then Falcon and Steve taking on the ships. Action is incredible. I can't say this enough. I'm not going to fucking beat a dead horse with that one. It's just, it's incredible stuff. And then Bucky goes and he takes out all the air support that's going to come and try to help Steve. That's a cool ass sequence and is cold blooded, but it just kind of reminds you of where he's at that point. He is not there in the head and he can't be held responsible for his actions in that moment. Then you got Falcon versus Brock Rumlow, which is super cool. Good fight, jumps out the thing, and then we see him burned to a crisp at the end. We'll obviously see him again in Civil War. And then they target the ships. Once Cap gets the thing in, he beats the shit out of the Winter Soldier, and he goes up, he puts it in. The ships all take themselves out, and Natasha gets online, and she has to expose all of her deepest, darkest secrets, something that she's held so close to her vest for so long. She has to expose herself and Nick and Cap and everyone else she knows with these secrets so that she can expose Hydra. It's like a total moment for her, and she does not hesitate. I like the exchange between her and him when Pierce is like, "You sure you want this out there? You sure you're ready for that?" And she's like, "Are you?" Boom, mic drop. Great sequence. There's really nothing I could possibly say bad about this movie. Not one fucking word, so it's not going to happen. Then Steve goes in and tries to save Bucky, and he just lets him beat his fucking ass. And some part of Bucky seems to come back because he stops and lets him go. And then, Buck pulls Steve out of the water after they crash into the water, so he does save his life, so he definitely is. And then we see Agent Hill goes to work for Stark, Agent 13 goes to work for the CIA, so everyone kind of has to go off and find their own path here. And that's that, man. What a fucking fantastic film. Holy shit. Could this be any damn better? I don't think so. I actually didn't watch the cutscene. I completely forgot because I really had to go to the bathroom during this movie, and then I went, and by the time I came back, I think my kids had already changed the TV, and I completely forgot that I meant to watch the cutscene. So I don't remember what they are. Holy shit. I'm going to go upstairs and watch them right now. But anyways, that was a lot of talking. I just did freaking Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, and this all back to back. Wonder where the hell that spider went. Anyway, guys, I got to go to bed. Good night.